Welcome to the Squash New Zealand Awards for 2020. The virtual awards this year, and plenty of awards to get through and plenty of great contributions as well. And this can only be called a challenging year for everybody. But before we get to the awards, let's hear from Squash New Zealand Chief Executive Martin Dowson.
Kia ora, my name is Martin Dowson. I'm the new CEO of Squash New Zealand. I have great pleasure to introduce the 2020 Squash Awards. This year has been challenging for everyone, and so we've decided to make these awards virtual so we can really fully acknowledge the clubs and the people throughout New Zealand. Over the last month, I've spent a lot of time travelling through the 11 districts and been visiting many different clubs and meeting all the great people behind the scenes. We're really blessed with a great group of volunteers who love the game, passionate about the game, and who sort of help create a great, vibrant energy for our clubs. I really want to give special thanks to those volunteers particularly, but also acknowledge the people who work in our districts, who help organise the interclub, coordinate the tournaments and provide great capability to our clubs. So it is about people, and we've got great people in squash in New Zealand, and you'll see some of those tonight. So congratulations to all the finalists and obviously to the winners, and I hope everyone enjoys the night. Thanks.
All right, thanks Martin, and now let's take a look at some of the squash highlights from 2020.
Finals of the World Squash Championship, the first New Zealand man to do so since 1986.
He's done it. Good goal.
COVID-19 is surging across the country.
The worst is yet ahead of us.
We now consider there is transmission within our communities. Effective immediately, we will move to alert level 3. After 48 hours, we will move to level 4.
Thank you so much for everyone who's going to tune in, and yeah, we'll get underway.
Hey guys, Luamba here, reporting in from Manchester in the United Kingdom.
Yes, I think we obviously...
Welcome back everyone. Okay, in this nice stable position.
Nothing in the rules that say you can't get a stroke off the vet wall.
The day we've waited almost 7 weeks for. Just 2 more sleeps before New Zealand makes a staggered move to level 2.
Everyone is hungry to win the title. The competition's really hard.
So I kind of admire Paul Cole. I was just about to say same.
So 10 all now.
Goodness.
Can't get much closer.
I don't. With you.
Yeah, I've hit with them in the court. That's where I get most of my shot.
So then Georgia goes for a nick, pushing that cross court drop across the line.
Yeah, but there you go.
Just too strong in the end.
In 4 games, the under-19 title goes to Auckland's Matalii.
Elijah so far. I think these boys are 1 and 2 in the Auckland team. It's pretty scary stuff for the team to do.
It's going to be quite scary, isn't it? 1 and 2 in the Auckland team.
First of all, just like to say well done to everyone. It's been a pretty tough year for all of you.
I'm just really grateful. You know, this year's been a bit chaotic.
first of men's second round encounters, and it is the top seed, Evan Williams, the left-hander. And Sophie Hodges, the 15-year-old, taking an early lead. 3 points. A fantastic 3 days of squash. I mean, she certainly likes to play a quick point using the angles very nicely as the left-hander, holds the ball very well.
Oh, well done.
And that is it.
Great game to Emma.
Well done to like that, but they will ask the question.
Yeah, I think they will. You're always going to get a little bit of interference, especially in a final like this and with players so close. Congratulations, wow.
In 5 games, finally, Evan Williams, the top seed, on his 3rd time in the final, takes out the championship, defeating Luamba Tulisi 11-8.
Well, King's done it. That's a huge roar and a huge win for Joel King.
What we saw in the quarterfinals against El Shabagi.
He's done it. So Cole gets the result against the world champion Tariq Moment.
And now let's move on to the referee awards, 2 awards here. Firstly, the Derek Cook Memorial Trophy. The winner of this year's award has contributed thoroughly to the refereeing in his district by setting up district referee chat group, which keeps all the officials informed and keeps them in regular communications. He set up a rules night to help newbies as well as those more experienced referees as well. And to make a long story short, has increased the number of qualified refs, put in place plenty of initiatives and continued to encourage improving the standard of referees. And we all want that. So the winner of the Derek Cook Memorial Trophy is John Fletcher.
Hi everyone, and thank you so much to Squash New Zealand for this award. To say it was completely unexpected would even be an understatement. So I guess while as a district we've had a large strategic focus on improving the quality of refereeing over the past couple of years, this award really is a recognition of the fantastic group of people within our region that have enabled that strategy to be nurtured and implemented. Our national referees, Heather Finlay and Terry Manawatu, have taken on the role as mentors with great enthusiasm, while we've been very lucky to have a number of new district referees very eager to increase their own knowledge and experience while sharing that knowledge with others as much as possible. Having Dries de Jager, Opera Monzari and Steve Harris, along with Heather and Terry, actively refereeing at all levels, has provided many more opportunities for players to be refereed by, to watch in action and to discuss refereeing with. It's obviously been very pleasing to see the percentage of active graded players with a current club referee qualification rise when we started the strategy from only 19% in January 2019 up to 42% in October this year. Many of our clubs have taken on the challenge thrown down by the club referee power rankings and are actively encouraging members to ensure they have a current qualification, as well as holding regular rules nights for new members. A little bit of banter between the clubs never hurt either. Creating more awareness around refereeing and inviting constructive discussion around the rules can only help improve a player's knowledge and ultimately give them more confidence when refereeing. We certainly have further goals to continue increasing the level of refereeing around Auckland, and we encourage other districts to throw down the challenge to their players and clubs too. So thank you once again to Squash New Zealand for this award, and congratulations to all the other award winners tonight.
Moving now to the Personal Endeavour Trophy for refereeing. And the winner of this year's Personal Endeavour Trophy is someone who gives a lot back to his district. All anyone needs to do is ask and he'll be there to referee for rules nights or just generally helping out for those people that are rules curious. He is a national referee who refereed at the New Zealand Junior Open this year, as well as the Canterbury Open and Christchurch Club Champs. He runs pre-season rules evenings for Intercom players for all levels of his ability. And the winner is Wayne Smith.
Good evening. Firstly, I'd like to thank Squash Canterbury for the nomination for this award. In a year that hasn't been normal, I've been able to still do the refereeing, run rules nights and communicate with players as far as the interpretation of the rules. To the players, thank you very much for the front row seats. And at the Junior Nationals, it was really good to catch up with other referees. Possibly next year, it will be easier to do so. Once again, thank you very much for this award. I consider it a privilege. Thank you.
And now let's take a look at some of the highlights from the women's final at the Senior Nationals between Emma Miller and Abby Palmer.
Well, welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to this, the North Shore Squash Club, and to the National Senior Championships in Auckland. On court now for the women's final are the top seeds. You can see Emma Miller, the right-hander, and the top seed up against Abby Palmer. She is the second seed.
First game, moving Lana to the front of the court, and Lana was actually onto it quite early.
Well, just looking for the respective coaches in the crowd. It is a very good crowd, making it very warm. Nice shot there from Emma Miller. And Paul Hornsby working with Abby Palmer out of the North Shore Club.
So Abby using that boast again. Like that was 8-all there, a big point. I feel like Abby's just giving it away there.
Yeah, she didn't seem to put as much effort into that particular shot as she could have. And so the first game going to Emma Miller, the top seed over Abby Palmer, 11-8. Well, Shelley Kitchen back in for this, the second game, man.
The quick points as well.
I mean, before you turned around, she's virtually serving again. We do have Abby Palmer just turned 23 a couple of days ago, whereas Emma Miller, I think, 29.
Just too fast for Abby at the moment.
And there we go. That is the second game in quick-fire fashion. 11-5. Starting now on to the third game of this, the women's final, the national championships here at the North Shore Club. And Shelley Kitchen. Great performance so far from Emma Miller.
She needs to get out of the front when she can. Room to play the ball. Wasn't a tight shot, and Abby was there to play. So, it's a great shot. Well done.
And that is it.
Great game to Emma.
Well done to Emma Miller, the top seed from the Waikato, 11-8, 11-5, 11-6. She is the champion. Well, firstly, congratulations. Isn't it nice to get a national senior title?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, once you leave juniors, which was a fair few years ago for me now, it's what you sort of strive towards. You come to nationals since you're young. You know, my first round I played one of the young girls, was just 13, played Soph in the semi. So right from that age through to my age now, you know, you keep coming back year after year in pursuit of the, you know, of the title.
All right, let's move on now to the coaching awards. 3 awards here. And firstly, to the foundation coach. Now, foundation coach is working with beginner players, primarily ungraded or F or J, and they're having their first squash experience. Well, she's the Korean coach who attracts a lot of Korean players of all ages and abilities at the North Shore Squash Club in Auckland, increasing the membership of the club by, well, dramatically. And she runs Korean night sessions, helping with focusing on coaching, drills, games and refereeing as well. She helps develop the players into coaches, help them coach some of the juniors as well. And she helps them out with the refereeing so they know the rules of the game. So the winner of the Foundation Coach Award is Suk Hee Kim.
Thank you very much, Squash New Zealand. It is an honor to receive the Foundation Coach Award. I would like to also thank North Shore Squash Club and Squash Auckland for all your support over the years. It has been amazing seeing the growth in Korean squash player in the North Shore community. I'm very happy to work here and to meet a lot of kind people. Please keep up the good work and love for squash. Thank you again.
Moving on now to the development coach. And the development coaches, they work with players of a reasonable skill level. That's graded E to B2 who play squash regularly.
So our awards are going to be Thursday, and obviously we're not going to do it in person, and we're going to do it virtual. And so obviously one of the downsides is you don't get that sort of surprise or that ability to sort of see the people in person, but in this case we can. So we have a finalist amongst us, and the finalist is the development coach of the year. And so the development coach is a coach who works with B graders to E graders. And one of our finalists is Evan. And I can sort of pleased to announce that you have won the award of development coach. This is going into our virtual awards, and so having a few words. So congratulations, you've done an outstanding job. You sort of had an amazing improvement with the players you've coached. You've designed a lot of different programs, including women and juniors, and I know you've worked with the junior rep team and supported the Super Champs women team as well, so congratulations.
Hey guys, just want to say thank you for choosing me to be the development coach for 2020. I want to congratulate all of the other finalists for a fantastic 2020 and obviously a disjointed one as well. Coaching for me has turned into a huge passion, and I'm very lucky to be able to do it alongside playing squash professionally as well. Getting to meet the new people, see new styles, try new things, it becomes really, really rewarding. But as all the other coaches would probably say and probably attest to as well, is coaches are nothing without their players. I'm very lucky to have a determined, strong and disciplined group of people who allow me to ply my trade with their squash, and they trust me with what information I'm passing on to them. So I want to thank them very, very much for their success this year as well. So this trophy here, this award is just as much for them as it is for me. So thank you very much to everyone on Team EWC. Cheers.
And now moving on to the Performance Coach of the Year. Now the Performance Coach of the Year, this is for coaches working with players who either represent their district or are involved in national squads. They can also be working with the development performance squads as well. Paul runs and coaches the performance group at the North Shore Squash Club. His players have made huge improvements across the board in all clubs. He spends a lot of his time also mentoring other coaches, and his specific performance plans for individuals, well, they've worked because two of his players won under-19 titles at the New Zealand National Juniors in Christchurch this year. He's also the Squash Northland Performance Coach as well. So the winner of the Performance Coach of the Year is Paul Hornsby.
Hi everybody. Well, first of all, a massive thank you for the award that I've been nominated for and awarded tonight. This is a real honour and a privilege to be receiving such an award from Squash New Zealand. So certainly, squash coaching is not something that you get involved in to receive awards. It's just a nice thing that happens from time to time. So it's, as I say, it's really humbling to be nominated as the Performance Award for 2020, which has been a really odd year, as we all know. We don't need to go into details with that, but it's almost been the season that never was for those players who certainly wanted to shine on the international stage, which is various players that I work with have got those aspirations and dreams of taking on the best players in the world, and it's been a real challenge for those players, let's say, to remain motivated and driven and hungry to improve at the levels that they're playing at. So there's a number of players who I could talk about. I'm just going to single out a few which I suspect were the reasons why I got nominated for this award, and that's on the back of their success in 2020. So Elijah Thomas and Natalie Says have both had fantastic years, winning the Under-19 national titles as well as the Under-19 North Island Championship titles. Both players I work with individually on a regular basis, and it really is an absolute privilege to get on court with these young athletes. And it's really been impressive to see the way that they've responded and bounced back, and as I say, kept that hunger and desire to search for ways in which they can invest in themselves and draw on my experience to improve. One other player, I'm sorry to single him out amongst various other players I work with up in Northland, Finn Venmore. He had a fantastic tournament at the North Island Junior Championships as well, winning that event as the number 4 seed. So a really, really solid weekend from Flynn, and it was a real treat to be there to watch him. So well done to those players, and thank you for sort of taking me on board as your coach and part of your support team. A few other people that I do want to thank, which these are people that enable me to do what I absolutely love for a living. First of all, North Shore Squash Club, who are amazingly supportive, and they provide an unbelievable facility for me to work out of and do various other squash professional services such as stringing rackets and selling rackets, and it's an amazing base, and I absolutely love that club. Certainly no intention of moving to any other club anytime. Squash Northland, they have engaged me as their performance coach for the last 5 years or so. Absolutely love the work I do up there. Always enjoy getting up there every Tuesday and plenty of Fridays as well. And those guys up there are always keen for me to do more. And the players and parents are a fantastic group of people to work with. So thank you to Squash Northland as well. Last but not least is my family. It's being a squash coach. Normally, I'd spend quite a decent amount of time away from home or overseas. It's been slightly different this year, obviously, but I've always had unwavering support from my wife and children, and I must acknowledge and thank those for their support too. So once again, thank you for this award, and roll on 2021.
And isn't it great that we have 2 such highly ranked players in the world, with Paul Cole, the current world number 5, and really very, very competitive against those Egyptians. So here's a few words from Paul Cole.
Kia ora everyone. Just want to send my regards back to New Zealand. I hope you guys are doing well back there. I'm very jealous that I can't get back, missing the homeland incredibly. Unfortunately, didn't get back for Nationals this year. It was just too hard to do 2-week quarantine in a hotel and still have our schedule over here. So it's been a tough season for us in terms of not knowing what's happening. Like I said before, I would love to have come home, but we just can't do it at the moment, especially with the tournaments happening on over here and the quarantine restrictions back home. But I hope squash in New Zealand is still going strong, and can't wait to catch up for everyone when I can eventually get back. So kia kaha everyone, and good luck.
Okay, let's have a look now at a special Masters Award. Now, this is the Rob Roach Memorial Trophy. It was actually presented to the recipient of this award recently at the New Zealand Masters Champs in Whangarei. And the winner is Trevor Coulter from the Hamilton Squash and Tennis Club. Trevor has competed in 9 World Masters Squash Champs, 6 World Masters Games squash competitions, 8 Pan-Pacific Masters Games. It actually goes on and on. He's competed for a very long time. He's respected around the Masters community and squash around the country, and has shown you don't need to be a top-class player. His highest ever grading was actually C2 to win titles and enjoy the game well into his 80s. So congratulations there to Trevor Coulter of the Hamilton Squash and Tennis Club. He wins the Rob Roach Memorial Trophy. All right, now we're moving on to the Volunteer of the Year. Now, a lot of people put forward to this category, of course. And obviously plenty of people excel in this category, but only one person can win. He increased social media presence and built camaraderie around his club, attending club nights, new member nights, promotes tournaments and organises club competitions. So basically everything. He organised a club-wide discussion around Masters engagement to allow people to have their say. He's helped increase the volunteer base with his energy, inspiring others. And he organised a $5 tournament after COVID to get people back playing. Well, it was a huge success. 97 players wanted in. And other events he's included, a construction against a medical challenge, and post-COVID. Well, he put procedures in place around all the different levels and also designed T-shirts for Wellington for the World Squash Day 2020. So the winner of the Volunteer of the Year, Miles Sayer from Wellington.
Kia ora everyone, hope you're having a great night wherever you're watching this around the country. Hopefully at your local squash club having a few drinks. Thanks heaps for the award and the recognition. For me it's a huge honour just to be nominated and a finalist, let alone to win this. Thanks heaps to Dane and the rest of the Island Bay Committee for the original nomination. I'd like to give a huge shout out though to all the other nominees and finalists to acknowledge all the hard work and effort that they put in at their own club and or district. But not just them, to all the other club captains and committee members around the country, as well as anyone that puts up their hand to help out with squash in some way. Not just at my club, you guys all know who you are, but all the clubs around the country. I do what I do because I love the game, I love the passionate squash community, I love the friendships and the banter that comes with it, and I really enjoy seeing the game in our club Island Bay thrive. However, I couldn't do what I do without the support and patience of my two little boys. They must think that the squash club's our second home, as well as my awesome wife Catherine, who probably deserves this award just as much as me. Anyway, have a great night.
And now the highlights from the men's final between Evan Williams and Luamba Chilisi.
And ladies and gentlemen, you can hear the crowd enthusiastic. And you can already see the enthusiasm and hear it coming through. This is the men's final of the National Squash Champs at the North Shore Squash Centre. Both players smiling as well. It is Evan Williams up against, in the white t-shirt, Luamba Chilisi.
Yeah, so the ref sort of probably stamping his mark a little bit, I think, in the start of this match.
I think it is Glenn is making one of the decisions there, one of our very experienced referees around the world.
We nearly hit that nick there.
Gee, flicked it off his ankles.
This is a big point. Wow, great shot.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's acknowledged.
Great sportsmanship by Luamba there. I think on the court you can tell, you can hear it.
She was in the end.
Yeah, it's good. It's a great shot from Evan there. Oh, what's it going to be?
And there we go. So that is the first game, 12-10 as well. So hard hit.
Yeah, there was nothing in the first game. 2-love up.
Exactly. The pace is still exhausting. Just watching it is as well.
Yeah, it is. They haven't really slowed down at all. If anything, they're sort of playing more shots. Luamba getting that back. Nice lifting that. Oh, that's game.
And we just had a 22-minute game. That 18-16 to Luamba.
Well, they've been training for this, I think, for a number of months. I'm sure you've been told this is the third attempt at the New Zealand Nationals.
Ball as well to make it 2-1. Oh, great play. Changing direction. That is the third game for Evan Williams over Luamba Chilisi. 2-1 lead now for the Wellingtonian.
This is a big rally, this one. Actually, most of the rallies have been big.
Yeah, they've been very big.
And oh, great shot. Oh, wow!
Nice shot. Out of all of that, out of that long rally, staying in it, and then he pulls that up.
Oh, no net.
Into the fifth game of this, the men's final for the National Squash Championships here at the North Shore Squash Club. And what a final it has been.
It's Good length by Evan. What's he going to do here? Oh, trying to get... Oh, and that's a shot.
Yeah, that's
a great shot.
Oh. He was wanting it to be a stroke in his favour. It just wasn't going to happen.
Yeah. Or no let, I think. That's what... Oh,
there we go.
Congratulations, wow.
In 5 games, finally, Evan Williams, the top seed, on his 3rd time in the final, takes out
of the 2020 National Championships. Evan Williams.
Yeah, I mean, everyone wants to get their name on the national trophy. It's, as Emma said, that's when we're young kids, this is what you strive towards, and the names on the trophy speak for themselves. And to get my name on there, although it's not an ordinary year, to know that my name will be engraved on there for the rest of squash history is pretty special. Today is a special day in my career.
So let's get ready now for the most improved players. The juniors first, then the seniors. Now, the most improved junior girl, the 15-year-old from Hamilton Girls High School, is the current New Zealand number 5, but reached the semi-finals of the New Zealand Senior Nationals this year, as well as winning the Under-17 girls title in Christchurch from the Junior Nationals. She is a member of the 2020 New Zealand Junior Girls individual team and Trans-Tasman Series team, and also reached an A1 grading, a 300-point increase in 2020. And finally, she was number 1 in the Waikato girls team, the winners of the New Zealand Inter-District Teams event in 2020. So the most improved junior girl, Sophie Hodges from the Waikato.
I'm very honoured to receive the Most Improved Junior Girl for 2020. I'd like to thank my coach Jo Williams for all her time and dedication, and to my sponsors Technofibre and Northcare Dental Centre. Without them, I would not have been able to achieve what I have. Thanks.
And let's have a look now at the most improved junior boy. Now, the 17-year-old was a member of the New Zealand 2020 New Zealand Junior Boys individual team and the Trans-Tasman team as well. He finished 3rd at the New Zealand Under-19 Boys Nationals in Christchurch and also gained a 300-point increase in the last 12 months. As a national senior, he's ranked 16th in the country and also joined the PSA World Rankings late last year and has played a variety of satellite tournaments as well. So the winner of the most improved junior boy is Joe Smythe from the Bay of Plenty.
Kia ora everyone, I'm very grateful and honoured to receive this amazing award. I'd just like to say a few thank yous to the people who've helped me develop into the person I am today. A massive thank you to Squash New Zealand and Shelley Kitchen for organising everything behind the scenes and just preparing all the squash camps, tournaments. I really appreciate that. Massive thank you to my coaches, Robbie Wyatt and Dave Clark, for all the hours they've spent on me, mentoring and coaching me, as well as my old coach, Nick Meader. Thank you. Thank you to my home club, Devoy, for providing such an excellent facility and a family that I call my second home. A massive thank you to my sponsor, Head, for providing me all the equipment and gear I need to keep on track. Thank you to my parents, Mum and Dad, for providing endless hours, endless money. I really appreciate that. Thank you guys.
In 1985, after the passing of Shane O'Dwyer, a memorial trust was established in memory to recognise his significant contribution to the game. The main aim of the Shane O'Dwyer Trust is to encourage and promote the development of squash, in particular junior and youth activities. It is governed by the New Zealand Squash Hall of Fame Board, and in the past, some junior players have been awarded funding support. For more visibility and consistency in the process of the award, a category is aligned to this annual Squash New Zealand Awards. Therefore, each year the Hall of Fame Board invites the winners of the Most Improved Junior Boy and Girl to submit an application to the Shane O'Dwyer Trust outlining their squash ambitions. If accepted by the Hall of Fame Board, those juniors are in line to receive funding support. This year's winners are Joe Smythe from Tauranga and Sophie Hodges from Hamilton. Congratulations.
So now we move on to the most improved female, that is the most improved senior female. She is the New Zealand number 12, lives in Christchurch, originally from Masterton. Now she's committed to improving her game by travelling around New Zealand for increased competition. She's coached by ex-New Zealand rep Rod Hayes and improved over 100 points in A grade in 2020. The most improved female, the senior player that is Grace Heimers.
Hello, I'd just like to say a huge thank you to Squash New Zealand for this award. Can say I was a little bit surprised, but I have really enjoyed travelling around New Zealand playing squash tournaments this year, as much as COVID's allowed us to do that. Hopefully there'll be a lot more tournaments that we can play next year, and I'm really looking forward to travelling quite a lot next year as well. Just like to say a huge thank you to my family and my friends for your support this year. Also a big shout out to Christchurch Squash Club. I'd like to say thank you to my sponsors, Stuart Anderson Hill, Wilson Essex. I want to say a huge thank you to my coach, Rod Hayes and Adrian Hayes, for all your support this year. I honestly could not have made the progress that I have this year without you guys by my side, and I really look forward to the next couple of years with you guys. But yeah, so thank you so much, Squash New Zealand, for this award. I really appreciate it. Cheers. Bye.
And as we move on now to the most improved senior male, the 20-year-old improved on the PSA World Rankings by 223 spots since October last year, and won his first 2 satellites along the way at Eden Epsom and also at Henderson. Currently the New Zealand number 4, and finished 3rd at the Senior Nationals a couple months ago. He has supported a huge number of domestic tournaments around the country and is committed to his squash and helping others around him as well. So the most improved senior male, Timwa Chalisi.
Hi everyone, I'm absolutely honoured to have received this award of the most improved player for 2020 in New Zealand. I have a lot of people to thank for this. I wouldn't have been able to finish on such a high and had such a great season if it wasn't for the support team and the people that are around me. So firstly, I'd like to thank my parents for everything they've done for me. My training partners, Louis and Joel. You know, we've been training really hard this year and we've been pushing each other. So I'm very grateful for them. Shelley Kitchen, the high performance manager, who has done countless hours of practice sessions with me and helped me throughout the season, even back in the summer. So big thanks to Shelley, you're doing an incredible job. And also, last but not least, John Duggan, my manager / coach. He took me in at the end of last year, had a huge summer with him. And yeah, so he just put so much time into me, and I'm so grateful that he's had the patience and really stuck with it. So big thanks to John Duggan. You've made an amazing environment for me, Louis and Joel. So yeah, thank you very much.
Squash New Zealand and the New Zealand Squash Hall of Fame are delighted to announce that Chas Evans has been inducted as the first referee into the New Zealand Squash Hall of Fame. Chas Evans is inducted as an honoured member of the New Zealand Squash Hall of Fame. Chas emerged from the Upper Hutt Club to become one of the best referees in the world, officiating at 7 men's and 6 women's world championships between 1983 and 2003. He refereed in international events all over the world, including in Australasia, Asia, Africa, Europe and North America. He also officiated in the 1998 Kuala Lumpur and 2002 Manchester Commonwealth Games. World Squash elevated its top half-dozen referees into a world panel in 1992, and from then until his retirement in 2003, Chas was a member of the elite world panel. In 1991, he refereed the men's final at the World Championships in Adelaide, when Rodney Martin beat Jahangir Khan. This was arguably the peak of his refereeing career, bearing in mind that for many years he was automatically excluded from refereeing the Women's World Final because of the presence of top New Zealand players Susan Devoy, Leilani Joyce or Carol Owens. A feature of Chas's refereeing was his empathy with players. He was strong-minded and there was never any doubt he was in charge. But he had a down-to-earth brand of humour that helped ease tense situations. Chas became one of the big personalities of New Zealand in world squash. We look forward to formally inducting Chas at the Chas Evans induction dinner in early 2021.
And now for Joelle King, a player who's been ranked in the top 10 in the world for such a long time and also multiple gold medalists from the Commonwealth Games. Joelle King, the world number 8.
Hello, kia ora everyone. Just saying hi from all the way here in Bristol in the UK. Currently training and getting ready for the Black Ball Open in Cairo, which I leave for on Saturday. So yeah, really sad I can't be there with everyone tonight for the awards, but just wanted to say hi to you all anyway. You know, the last event next week coming up it's the last one for the year 2020, and you know what a year it's been. It's we've had some really sad things happen this year. You know, the loss of Susie Simcock, Tanya Lawrence, two very dear people to my heart who are, you know, will be sorely missed already, who have contributed in big ways to our wonderful sport. So very sad. You know, Campbell Grayson retiring this year as well. He's going to be a tough spot to fill in the team, and someone I grew up with playing from the age of 10 years old. So yeah, it's probably a year that I think many of us are glad to see the back of, and looking forward to bigger, brighter things and lots of positive things to happen next year in 2021. So I hope you all have an amazing night. Congrats to all the winners.
Well, here we are now at the Club of the Year, and a big competition here. Plenty of fantastic achievements by so many clubs from throughout New Zealand. Congratulations to all 11 finalists from the districts. You can see them there. And great competition, as we said. It was a very tough decision, but there was just one club that came out on top. Now, we won't say who it is just yet. You can guess. A long list of achievements. So this club in the financial year grew from 45 members to 180 in 2020. They achieved this through large increases in organised club events through to a 3-step plan. And this involved increasing participation opportunities for their current members through graded leagues, inter-club competitions, implementing a junior development program. They ran school squash programs, which increased their numbers of graded juniors from 4 to 27. And they created membership growth from within the community as well, with initiatives such as Women in Wine, which they had such an overwhelming response to, they had to actually close it off. They entered 7 teams in District Super Champs, and 5 of them went on to National Super Champs, where they won 2 titles. They updated their access system to encourage more casual bookings and rebuilt relationships with other clubs in the districts. So the winner of the Club of the Year is Surf City from Gisborne.
It's an honour to receive this award on behalf of Surf City, and it's awesome to be acknowledged for our accomplishments in 2020. Just like to give a few thanks, firstly to Squash New Zealand. I think they did a good job this year of making the decisions that they made under the circumstances, and we're really grateful as a club to be able to send 5 teams away from Super Champs, and I know all our players that have attended that national event had an awesome time. Secondly, to Squash Eastern, particularly firstly to Jackie Sutherland, our previous district administrator and statistician. She's been a great help for me personally over the past 18 months to 2 years. To Mike Willis, Michelle Kelly, Wayne Kempton and the rest of the Eastern board. The guys have done a real awesome job understanding that you need us to be part of the Eastern family. Not only do you acknowledge that you need us, but you also want us to be a part of that family, and that's awesome. Lastly, to our club, thanks to everyone who's given it their all to playing squash and participating this year, and an awesome thanks to Avon Melita and Willie Donnelly, who have done a lot of coaching and getting juniors back on the ground. We certainly wouldn't have had the year that we've had without them. So thanks very much, and look forward to a great 2021.
So one of the unsung heroes of squash around the country, Campbell Grayson, finally hung up his professional racket. He's now going to be taking up a full-time coaching role in the US. Now, Campbell won national titles, played for New Zealand at multiple Commonwealth Games and around the world, and achieved a world-high PSA ranking of 25. Campbell Grayson, he'd like to say a few words on his retirement.
Hi everyone, back home in New Zealand. Campbell Grayson here. Hope everyone's well and enjoying some nice weather going into the summer. I'm in the States now. I'm going as we're heading into the winter now, so it's going to be an interesting one. Just wanted to say a few words about my career and my retirement. I retired about 3 months ago now, and yeah, it's been quite a change after so many years of playing squash and competing and stuff. But yeah, enjoying it. I've started doing an online degree at Massey University, so I've been sort of busy with that and enjoying that, and I'm coaching a bunch of families in Virginia now. I'm eventually going to go into a full-time job at a program outside of New York City in Connecticut. Yeah, just a few words on my career. I think sort of some of the highlights of it was really playing for my country, any World Teams event or World Juniors or Commonwealth Games. It was great, just so much fun with the team, and always had such great teammates and such good camaraderie as part of the team, and yeah, managed to sort of achieve some fairly good results, especially towards the back end of my career. We had a good Commonwealth Games last time and some pretty good World Teams events and stuff, so that was always good. I always loved a good battle as well on tour, so I think I sort of managed to get some decent victories and some 12-10 in the fifths or really close matches and long matches, and it was always good to sort of get some of those wins in and win some titles as well. I think I managed to win 14 or something, so those were always real highlights for me. Yeah, I think yeah, I'm certainly going to miss. I'm going to miss it a lot. I'm going to miss all the traveling and competing and hard training and stuff like that. But happy with my decision, and really looking forward to seeing all the new talent that comes out of Squash New Zealand. I'll be following everyone really closely, and yeah, really sort of hope that obviously Joelle and Paul's careers and Evan and everyone, that they continue to do well. Hopefully the tour can sort of get off to a better start next year, restart. Hopefully we can restart sort of on sort of more of the full tour, and I'll be following everyone really closely. Take care. If you're ever in the New York area, come and visit me. Obviously not right now, but when COVID gets better, so just give it a bit of time. And yeah, hope everyone's well and hope to catch up with everyone soon. Take care.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's now the Squash NZ Personality of the Year.
It's also my pleasure to present the Squash New Zealand Personality of the Year. So, interesting story behind this. I watched a tremendous senior nationals final and was amazed with Evan's performance, and also how gracious he was in accepting that victory. I thought it was a great story to be told. A really clearly a passionate coach and clearly a passionate athlete as well, which is great to see. So you're performing and giving back at the same time. And it also, I recognised someone that I thought I'd seen even before, and it turns out in the middle of COVID, before lockdown, I would go for a walk around the waterfront through Civic Square, and I was always amazed to see this young chap. He'd set up cones and he'd set up a court, and he was hitting balls against one of the big, building side walls in the middle of Civic Square. So this was a time where you couldn't play squash, you couldn't go to the squash centres and so on, and it's a real testament to the personality and the drive that Evan has, that he manufactured a court out of a public place and was really putting in the hard yards there. So I thought this is a guy who's really got it going on. So on behalf of the Squash New Zealand board, congratulations on being the Squash Personality of the Year.
Hey guys, wow, I didn't expect to be receiving the Personality of the Year award today. To be honest, I had to do some research on what the award was actually for, because I've never been in the realm or the spectrum of being able to receive this award. So I'd really like to thank the Squash New Zealand board for selecting me for this award, which recognises the hard work that I've put in over 2020. When I read about the award, it talks about passion and determination inside our game, and I'm very, very proud of the steps that I put forward every single day. I don't think you'd ever find someone who's going to be the national champion is also going to win a coaching award nationally as well. So that is something I'm hugely, hugely proud of. My passion is about as deep as you can possibly get, as a lot of people would imagine. Squash is the reason why I wake up in the morning. It's the reason why I get out of bed. It gives me the drive, the push, and it makes me want to succeed. So everything that I have revolves around squash, and that's obviously a huge, huge part of my life. And I think the most exciting thing about this now is I've been playing squash for 24 years, and I can say without a doubt that at this point in time, my passion for squash is at its absolute highest. I cannot wait for the future, and I'm really looking forward to seeing everybody in 2021. Cheers.
And now a special Chairman's Award. It goes to a person who sadly left us in what was a challenging year for everybody. But her impact and legacy in New Zealand and world squash and world sport lives on. It is Susie Simcock.
As a fellow life member of Squash New Zealand, I am delighted that Susie has been awarded the Chairman's Award for 2020 for her outstanding contribution to Squash New Zealand. Sadly, Susie is no longer with us, but the Chairman's Award is a very fitting bookend to a truly remarkable career across club, national and international squash. The following is part of the eulogy I gave at Susie's memorial service last week. Susie took up playing squash at the age of 34. Not unusual for the time, as midweek ladies squash was seen as an ideal sport to combine with busy young family activities. In 1980, at the age of 42, Susie achieved her highest national ranking at number 8, one behind a 16-year-old junior named Susan Devoy. That is how good Susie had become. 4 years later, Susie was still nationally ranked, and Susan was winning her first British Open. Susie's leadership and management skills are obvious to all. She'd been player manager of Auckland squash teams at national events for some years, and Squash New Zealand were keen to bring Susie into the national manager's role. She managed teams to consecutive Women's World Championships in Canada 1981 third place, Australia 1983 third place, and Ireland 1985 runner-up, which remains today New Zealand's highest placing at a World Teams event. Susie then went on to chair the organising committee for the very successful Women's World Championship played in Auckland in 1987 and won by Susan Devoy for her second world title. Susie's term as World Squash President from 1996 to 2002 was an outstanding success. She travelled constantly to many regional federation meetings and was regularly on a plane travelling to the Northern Hemisphere. Her open communication style and networking ability unified the squash community in a way it never had before. A continuing challenge for Susie was the development of women's squash worldwide. She saw it as a major growth area, but more importantly, she just wanted to see more women, both young and old, playing the game. Her other big challenge was squash's attempt for inclusion in the Olympic Games. Whilst ultimately unsuccessful, significant progress was made in all major regional games such as the Pan American, Asian, African, and importantly from New Zealand's perspective, the Commonwealth Games. Susie's involvement did not finish on completion of her presidency, and she accepted the role of Emeritus President for a further 6 years, whilst also chairing the Federation's Olympic and Major Games Committee until 2009. Virtually right up to her passing, Susie was still involved with Squash New Zealand as a trustee of the National Squash Centre, amongst other special projects that came along from time to time. When Susie retired, she'd been involved in New Zealand and world squash at the highest levels for an outstanding 3 decades. She was a trailblazer who saw the big picture and had the ability to drive through vital changes when needed. She was equally at home in the local squash club amongst the professional players or in the high-powered environment of the Olympic world. She saw the best in everyone, brought out the best in everyone, and gained the respect of everyone. From the humble beginnings of Midweek Ladies Committee to World President, her journey through our sport will never be matched. She'll be remembered as one of our greatest and will be deeply missed.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching. That brings to a close the 2020 edition of the Squash New Zealand Awards, the virtual awards for this year. Let's hope 2021 can be a little bit easier and we can all keep playing, watching and being involved in the sport we love. Thanks to Jono and Deanna and everyone else for putting the awards together. Enjoy.